going to give you a little bit more of a background. This is a bit of theatre, a bit of drama. It's a part of the public relations speaking manual. It's an advanced manual, and Paul is a very advanced speaker and is powering through these manuals. Tonight we're asking you to play a part in his speech, a role play. Now it's not really a political statement, it's an opportunity in using a very current topic, which is basically our clean energy future. You'll notice that whilst he is pretending to be a Labor colleague, somebody from Labor, presenting to the people of the Latrobe Valley about our clean energy future. Not the most hospitable place for a Labor politician at the moment. This is not a political speech. It's a bit of theatre, and it's a way for Paul to really set himself a challenge. It's up to us, the audience, to play our part. Remember, we're from the Latrobe Valley. We don't really want this. So as he speaks, think of some questions and make sure you're at least a touch hostile when you get the chance to give them. I don't mean swearing, I don't mean cursing, I don't mean physical violence. Okay? But please, play your part. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Marnie, our clean energy future. Our clean energy future, Paul Marnie.
Get off! Go home!
Go!
Hey, smiling
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much to everyone for attending tonight. It's a topic which I understand is very dear to your hearts. It's a critical issue for yourself and for the entire nation. I'm here tonight to speak to you to explain the Australian Government's position in introducing the carbon tax that we are proposing for the middle of next year. And I'll welcome questions at the end. I'll talk for a while and then invite questions. What I want to say to you is that there are three imperatives on this issue. They are global imperatives, national imperatives, and local imperatives for you, the people of the Latrobe Valley. Let me start with the global imperatives. And I'd like to show you a chart which I believe sums up very clearly the crisis that the global community now faces. This chart, ladies and gentlemen, which I'll ensure everybody can see, or get a feel for the image, that chart represents the increase in carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere over the past 2,000 years. That looks like our deficit. That's how the deficit might go if we don't do something. That shows the concentrations above 270 parts per million. We're now at around 390 per million, after being at around 315 parts per million in around 1960. In the million years before 1750, we never exceeded 300 parts per million. And what you're seeing there is exponential growth in CO2 emissions. Now, Hans-Joachim Schellenhuber is a scientist, a German scientist. He's head of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research in Germany and an advisor to Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor. He says that we're heading very rapidly towards a temperature increase of 2 degrees. And what happens is that these increases become self-sustaining and exponential. He also says that a temperature of 4 degrees would mean a planet which could sustain less than 1 billion humans. Now remember, this will be self-sustaining temperature increase. So we have a climate catastrophe looming if we don't do something. That's the global imperative. What about the national imperative? Well, the opposition says that we're leading the world in introducing a carbon tax. has had a carbon tax since 2005, involving 32 countries. New Zealand introduced a carbon tax in 2010. In South Korea, they're spending $85 billion in the next 5 years on clean energy. China plans to have 15% clean energy by 2020. Japan is targeting 25% reduction in 1990 emissions by 2020. We have a very modest target, a 5% reduction on 2000 levels by 2020. We are not leading the world, but we are a sophisticated, advanced nation that is in a position to make these changes. But I understand that's cold comfort for the people of the Latrobe Valley, who have helped support our power generation for decades. And it has supported them. So what does this change mean to you? Our government is committing to a new fund, the Clean Energy Finance Corporation, an independent body which will be charged with investing $10 billion in green energy. And you, the people of the Latrobe Valley, have a magnificent opportunity to take advantage of that. Let me give you an example. Geothermal energy, clean energy, based on the temperature below the Earth's surface. If we go down about 5 kilometres below where we are now, in the Latrobe Valley, we have temperatures of around 200 degrees Celsius. The Latrobe Valley has the world's best resources of brown coal. It is a unique resource, and something really interesting about brown coal is that it acts as a thermal blanket. This is the only place in the world where geothermal is viable without granite, and uranium-based granite at that. Elsewhere, geothermal relies on granite. Here, we have a magnificent resource where the temperature of 200 degrees is far closer to the surface than anywhere. And Melbourne University researchers believe that an investment of $100 million will provide us with a pilot plant for geothermal here in the Latrobe Valley within 3 years. And we have $10 billion in the fund. Also, the Energy Minister, Martin Ferguson, has said that the Latrobe Valley will be the government's aim for new gas-fired power to replace the brown coal, assuming Hazelwood Power Station is one of the stations which will close. Because we have announced we're trying to close 2,000 megawatts of coal-fired power, and Hazelwood has 1,600 megawatts. So I ask you to consider the opportunities, the clean, green opportunities for this region, because Australia, if we don't change, will be left behind. Other nations will not be willing to invest in Australia or to trade with Australia to the extent they currently do, because believe me, ladies and gentlemen, the world must address and realises it must address carbon pollution, and they will be moving to a clean, green energy future and introducing their own carbon taxes. We need to take these steps now to prepare for a clean, viable and vibrant future, and I look forward to working with you towards that end. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I've said what I came here to say, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I'll open it to Stephen.
How much did you say this is going to cost? Was it $5 billion?
We have a fund of $10 billion.
$10 billion?
$10 billion.
I'll give you $10. Where will the other $9,999,990
Where will it come from? Well, we're introducing carbon tax.
Oh, so the taxpayers will pay.
The 500 top polluters will be paying. So the people like the steel producers, the energy producers relying on coal, those type of people, yes, we say that. Because we are bringing the cost of the pollution into the transaction.
Very good. So they'll absorb the cost and they won't pass it on.
They will pass it on.
Oh,
we have.
To all those earning
They may, it'll be up to them, they may, but we have compensation packages.
So hang on, you're going to put us all out of work. And
Sorry,
you're going
a
to...
question in the corner. Sorry, question, and I'll come back to you.
Fairly typical, isn't it?
Sorry.
Have you seen Europe's had a carbon tax since 2005?
Correct.
Well, have you seen Europe lately? It's shot. Greece is in
Yeah,
debt,
exactly.
everyone's in debt in Europe, all bar 2 countries. Does that mean we're going to head straight?
That's not because of the carbon tax.
Well, New Zealand stuff because of the carbon tax.
Are there any ACTU members here?
Yeah, that's right. I'm the ACT. You remember I represent the people in the Latrobe Valley.
I'll go back to this gentleman's question in a moment. I'll just say that the
Well, I've got quite a few
ACTU
things I want to put.
and the Australian Conservation Foundation estimated 3 years ago that by investing in clean energy, we will create in this country 850,000 new jobs by the year 2030. So it is a vibrant future. So, sir, you had a question.
By 2020, all this crap that you're putting us through, how much is it going to drop the world's temperature by in that amount of time?
Yeah, good question.
Sir, it's impossible for me.
Exactly. Thank you. Move
All I
on.
can say is if we don't take steps, we will have an exponential increase
And
in CO2.
that chart you had there, what is the baseline? Is it 0?
No, I did mention that.
No, it's not 0 because that is lies, damn lies and statistics. So you can throw that out for a start. If you brought that up to 0, the line would go like that.
Excuse me, sir. That's
It's a drop in the ocean.
from the CSRO,
It's a
and
drop
that's
in
how
the
they publish
ocean.
it. So you had a question?
Yeah,
and we
Mr.
do need to
Murray,
finish up
you
now.
do it. Ah, yeah, we finished up. Oh, yeah. It's all crap.
I'm happy to talk to people afterwards, but the television is closing the meeting down in 1 minute. We don't have time for one more question, sir.
Yes, very quickly, you come here and we're sick of all you people who are consistently giving us facts and figures and statistics going back 2 million years. Where you got them, I don't know. But what is the basis? What's the scientific evidence? Who are the specific references? You never give us any of these things. You just quote some statistics.
I'm happy to.
And last of all, did you attend the recent conference on geodesy? You know, they are still trying to... The geodesy. The study of the actual surface of the planet.
Right.
They don't even know what the datum points are. They've got no basis or reference to this day.
Yeah.
They don't know whether the water's going up or
Smoke and
down.
mirrors.
Okay, I think we do need
Will you help us out with this?
Oh, yeah, I've got to finish up there. Oh,
IPCC government panel.
Run him out of town.
So, thank you for your time, and I'm happy to talk to people afterwards over a cup of tea.